Alright, what up, Jit? Let's make some Florida beats.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Alright, I'm making a pack of beats to send to Trapland Pat, so we are just going to kind of get cooking right up today, and we're just going to get into making some Florida beats. So, we're in FL Studio. Let's set our BPM to, I'm going to start like 160, but that's probably going to change. I've been cooking up faster beats, and I kind of got to slow them down, but... So, first thing first, we are going to do Xenology. Dude, my whole producing life right now is relying on Xenology, so... Alright, when you're making Florida beats, there are a lot of ways you can go with it. There's vintage samples and like sampling any type of music, honestly, or playing vintage stuff. So I kind of have an idea in mind. We're going to do some sort of like Moog bass line and some piano to start. So let's see what we can find. That's it. Alright, so I got this bass Moog here out of a drum kit actually. And then what you do, left click, you can get up into these settings. We put that out. So it's how long this lasts. Turn that all the way up so it's a shorter sound. And then we're going to play something on the piano with this. So let's go do that. Let's go find something to play. Okay, so super simple little Moog bass line here. And honestly, I'm a terrible producer. And I don't even actually, I'm not gonna lie, I never even learned the quantize function because there's some shortcut for it, and I don't know, tried it once, it didn't work. It didn't work the way I thought it did, so I just never learned. We're also just gonna turn those all to max because pretty much anything that's bass, 808, whatever, just turn it to max. And then we have the selected Control L, we're gonna send it to the mixer. Alright, you're gonna go get TDR Nova. It's a free multi-band EQ, and that's what you're gonna use to EQ everything. Yeah, there's too much low-end resonance, and there's something else in here. I don't usually do the sweeping thing, but we're gonna do it. Alright, so that's really all we're going to do for pattern 1. Simple. Pattern 2, we're going to go back to Xenology and we're going to find, I want a piano. I changed my mind. We're going to do a piano in a minute for more of like an arpeggio. So I really just want an E piano that's kind of chill, maybe with a bell. So for sound 2, we found this all EP, just a standard Xenology EP. We're just going to keep it pretty simple. The same root note, which is E, F sharp. We're just playing like an F sharp minor key, which matches that ball, ball, ball. It's the same key. So we're just gonna go record that. Wicked simple. We're gonna build this layer by layer. Record. That's an automation. I'm also kind of a mix as I go, like producer, because I like to hear what I'm doing. So I have kind of a preset template here, which I recommend, and all that's really on here is a sound goodizer. It's set to A, turned down a little bit, and a fresh air to give me a little extra high end that's just set to this mix box polish, and I think I have this higher turned down. Wicked simple. You're going to plug everything melody related into that, and the way you route channels, by the way, these are called a bus or a channel. Click on it, left click, and then let me unplug this. When it's unplugged, you'll see no cables besides the main router. You're gonna left click and then click on the bus you want, this little arrow at the bottom. Now they're plugged in together. That means that this bus is routed into the sound goodizer channel, and then it's routed back into your main bus. So we're gonna plug that. Those are both plugged in. It's way too loud. Turn it down. All right, this is a little loud still. This is already like pretty close. The thing with Florida beats is you want to keep the melodies pretty simple, and the drums are going to kind of hit hard at the perks. So let me just listen to this for a minute and think about what we want to add next. We're going to add, this is like super classic Florida beat. We're going to add something called like a stab or a pluck or something you could call it, but it's really just like a little stab. Probably with an organ is what we're going to add next. the other thing about me as a producer is I will take the time to find the right sound over using like post effects. So we're going to use very little effects today, and we're just going to hunt for the right sound. So this time it is this tremolo organ, just another essential xenology. And really all we're going to do is, again, use that same bass note, which is an F sharp minor. And we're going to play an F sharp minor chord. And we're just going to strike it in the right spot. You're just going to, stuff you're going to listen to and figure out over time. So again, let's just slap in another layer. Alright, and again, I'm just going to be lame and fix this on the timeline, even though there's not really too much to fix here. Little accents like this can definitely be off time, and my velocities look fine there. Those all look okay. Yeah, fix that, fix that. Oh, that's a little ugly, but not crazy. Again, those are gonna be perfectly on time, and I know those are also a little bit longer, I think, than I really want. Yeah. All right, same thing. We're gonna mix as we go. So we're gonna add that third layer in. Again, Control L adds it, and we're gonna route it to Soundgoodizer. It's gonna be too loud at first. Oh, turn that off. Okay, but it's gonna sound so good. Turn it down. And we're gonna send it to one side a little bit. Turn up my main key. Okay. It needs a tiny bit of reverb, but we're gonna be careful with this reverb because this tends to make things muddy. So we're gonna turn the wet down just a little. And a little bit of delay, same thing. We're gonna turn the wet down, which just reduces the amount of delay overall, and turn the cutoff, which is just gonna not put as much delay on the high end of the sound. It's gonna saturate it less. Less reverb. We're gonna change to the small studio overall, so it's gonna be less wet overall. That's good. Turn the delay down a little. Alright, perfect. Alright, the last thing I'm gonna add for now, I know I just want some sort of little piano lead in there. So we're just gonna play a little piano lead on this, and then we're gonna start on the drums, and then we'll probably come back to the melody, and I'll explain why in a minute. Just same thing, pulled up this simple best grand piano. I got a wicked simple little like arpeggio we're gonna play, and then we're gonna move on to drums. Okay, so that's how we're gonna start. We're gonna move on to the drums right now. Reason being, sometimes I tend to overcrowd my beats and I overproduce them. So I like to stop when I get to a point like this. We're gonna go do the drums, and then we might come back and add something else to this beat, or that might be it. We'll see. All right, honestly, drums for Florida beats are pretty simple. Left click and drag. We're gonna fill that out. We're gonna right click, fill each 2 steps. Left click, wrench. We're gonna shift this up. Puts our hi-hats a little off time so they sound a little more natural. Oops. In the piano roll, we're going to control left click drag and then control B, copy over. Simple. Right now we have a simple 2-step hi-hat. And same thing, right away I want to start getting my sounds. Basic Florida beat is a 2-step hi-hat with a clap on the 3 and the 7, but I'm using a rim today. You could use a snare, a clap, whatever. Super simple. Okay, and then I am next going to go on to my cymbals because I kind of have my own, sauce down. And I'm going to spill a little bit right now, which is that I actually use R&B cymbals instead of like trap hi-hats. Or excuse me, instead of trap open hats. So my thing when I'm making like a smoother beat like this, where everything's a little softer, where is it? Is this ride? Oh, God, this sounds so good. Just that. And then there's a hi-hat in here I really like, an open hat. It's perfect. Alright, so we're gonna get like our basic bounce down here. So pretty much your main ride just goes on the 1. You could also put it like on the 5 for the second set, but I like it just on the first one. Give it a little more space. And then the open hat, we're gonna just, usually I'm gonna put it, I don't know exactly where, honestly, sometimes like the 6, these offset ones, but we're just gonna listen and find where it sounds good. It should add a little like offset bounce. Okay, next we're gonna add some perks. This is where this really kind of becomes a Florida beat. So let's go one of these laser perks. I am definitely gonna want a classic like clav. That. I might need a ram. I don't know about that. Okay, we're just gonna start here. Alright, so this is our drums. I'm going to actually play just the drums alone. Okay. Let's actually make the... So, literally, I'm just going to add one more. Yeah, okay, let's do that instead. Alright, pretty simple. Alright, and then we're going to do the 808. The reason I left the 808 till last is because I planned on it being pretty simple for this beat anyway. And it's just going to hit hard and be pretty damn simple. So we are going to use that root note again. By the way, we're going to change our scale highlighting here. So view, scale highlighting, we're going to change it to minor natural. View, scale highlighting again, we're going to set it to E because that's the scale I'm playing in. Just to be safe, we're just going to save this really quick. And we're going to call this, well, this is always my struggle. What do we call it? Okay, here's also a little sauce on how you should name your beats and send them out. The name of the beat, the key it's in, the BPM, and then your social media tag. That's how you should send everything out. 808's wicked simple. The first thing, because we're going to make them loud, you should always turn off loop points, go to the wrench, and cut self. It's going to make sure that when a second note plays in the 808, it cuts off the first note so they don't play over each other. And we're going to go just a pretty standard, like we're going to find that F sharp, E, F down here. And just turn it up, dude. Turn up the velocity. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Ready? Just this. This is like, we could just stop here. Okay, that's literally like, that could be it. Super simple 808 pattern. I just did that in 20 seconds. Okay, so it's the root note. And then we just hop up a half step. Half steps are, oh, let's give you a little music theory, a little nugget here. If you notice how, let's zoom way in. See how these two notes are immediately touching? There's no gap in between them. And these two notes have a gap. This is a half step. This is a whole step. Half steps sound weird. They sound eerie. So if you're making like dark trap, you're making like minor key trap. Those half steps, you'll notice, are your best friend. And if you'll notice, this is my root note of, well, my root note is really E, but what we're playing off of is the F sharp. And I'm going up a half step, right? And then from here, I'm still playing in this next half step. So I'm not playing with this whole step key. I'm going up and playing with the next half step. So it still sounds weird, quote unquote, and then dropping back down. So that's why it kind of it gives me that sound that I'm looking for. The thing is, this beat is a little slow, so we are going to turn this up to like 166. Okay, 164. We're going to really quickly rename the beat because it's a new version now. 160. All right, so now we're kind of ready to add the last thing we're going to do is add just a synth over the top of this really quick. Okay, so we got our last layer really quick. We found this in a trap stash, this like simple sine lead. We gotta finish this up quick. All right. Okay, last thing we're gonna do is split this drum kit up and then split this drum pattern up and arrange it. So here on the left, we're gonna right click split by channel and we're gonna separate everything. All right, we have a finished Florida beat here, ready to send out. Let me just review it really quickly with you. You saw the melody we did, we're gonna run through that in a second. The drums we just arranged here, and essentially the way the arrangement worked is I copied the full melody, and on the intro, which is you call like the chorus, I just took out the piano arpeggio and I have full drums, everything. Perks and all. Then as it goes into my 3 verses, the first one we strip the synth and throw the piano arp back and we pull out all the perks. This is just like the straightforward drums. And then we kind of just knocking shit. And then we just flip flop back and forth. We kind of go back to basic with the synth. This time I removed that organ stab to mix it up. And then on the end we just have like a triangle perk and this open hat, right? And then the bridge, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, yeah, it's your bridge, just repeats the intro, and then everything just repeats again, copy paste. The last little bit of sauce is what I call dynamics. So we just have a transition here. And then I do a short riser after the first verse into the second, and then after the third verse into the bridge with a little crash there. And that all repeats. So let's just do a quick run through. Let's do a quick listen through this beat. And then we are done. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you comment, like. Let me know what you want to hear next. Let me know if you like what you're listening to. I got a lot more of this coming.
Thank you, Colbert.